Hi everybody, this is a basic tutorial on how to put some images together to create your poster for the theatre exhibition. Right, so we're going to say create new, and it should be a print document. If the preset you want is not there, just say view all presets, and we're looking for A3 for the poster, vertical. So just say create, and that will make your Photoshop document, which will be the basis of the poster design. Now, sitting on the desktop here are the other elements that we're going to put together for the poster. So first of all, we'll start with the car image, and we can actually either go file place or we can just drag that in and it'll appear sitting on top of the picture. So obviously there's a lot of background there we don't want, and that's the first job. Before we do that, we can scale it, and you can hold down your command key, sorry, not the command key, your control key to just scale it, and shift will also constrain it so it doesn't get distorted. So get it to the size you want first, and you can use your move tool, this one, to move the object around the screen. And when you're ready, you hit enter, or as I did, just start choosing other tools, and you'll see that it's now what's called a smart object. So we can still scale it, but the problem is we can't really edit it or take anything out. You'll find that I can't, for example, paint onto that. See, it says no, it's got a slash across it, and that's because it's a smart object. So before you do anything, you've got to rasterize it, which turns it into a layer that's editable. So your layers palette, you'll need to work with that. If that's not showing, you need to go to Window, Layers. So anytime you want a menu that's not showing, go to that Window menu and you should be able to find it. So we've got to rasterize this. So that means you're going to turn it into pixels that can be edited, painted on, chopped out, etc. So to do that, go to the Layer menu, Rasterize, Smart Object. And you'll notice the little symbol has disappeared, and now you can edit this image. So we just want to have the car and nothing else that's on that page. So one of the best, one of the easiest ways to make a selection is this quick selection tool, this one, and sometimes that will do a pretty good job for you, and you can just delete the stuff that it's selected, but you can see in this case it's selecting way too much. So that's not fantastic. So another tool you can use is under the Select menu and Color Range. Now what that will do is allow you to select the background, and we can just drag up this what's called the fuzziness slider to see that the car is kind of by itself there with those other bits and pieces. So now when I say OK, I should be able to just delete all those bits that I don't want. So that's not too bad. Use Apple D to deselect, so you lose that sort of active selection that looks like a bit like crawling ants. Now there's obviously a whole bunch of stuff here that I don't want either. Again, just use a basic selection tool. You could use the lasso tool and just draw around all those objects to get rid of them, and then hit the delete key. That's possible. Or you could use the rectangular selection tool and just drag over the whole area, make sure you've got everything that's gone. Command D each time, Apple D, to get rid of the stuff you did not want. Now, if that selection is okay, then you can go ahead and start using it. And you should see that the car is now isolated on its own. However, what if it's not quite what you wanted? What if that technique really wasn't, exact enough for you? That's a basic selection, so you might be quite happy with that. I'm going to undo and go back and show you another way of selecting under the History menu. I'm just going to step back in time. right back to the beginning. So the history palette's a bit like undo, undo, undo. It lets you go right back to the beginning. So we're now back. If I look, I can go right back to the beginning when I said new, place embedded, rasterize smart object. So let's have a look. Another way of selecting the car is to actually paint a selection. So this is a more advanced technique, but it will help you understand how this tool works. So I can do the same thing, select colour range and pull the fuzziness slider down a bit because I'm worried I'm losing that bit in the car, the grey. So if I look at that, I can see there's bits of this that are selected that I don't want. So what I can do is go to a tool called Quick Mask Mode, and that'll show me what I've got selected. So you double click, it's this little radio button down here, double click, selected colour, say OK, and you can see that it's got this red is showing what's selected. So I actually I wanted all the background, which has done a pretty good job of getting all of that, but I didn't want it to actually select those bits inside the car. So I can actually go and get the eraser tool, and I'm literally just rubbing out those things. Have the opacity up at 100% for this. And now I've rubbed that bit out of the selection. Now down here, I actually want to add this. I want to select this. So I can switch to the paintbrush tool, and I can actually add these into my selection. I'm actually painting over them, but you can't really see that very well. When I click out, you can see that if I hit the delete key now, I've got rid of the background but kept that little grey part. So it's a way of adjusting what you've got, and then I can just go and use any of these selection tools to get the other bits and Command D. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there.